Animal drinkers, the top 6. When it comes to mind-altering agents such as alcohol or drugs, in the vast majority of cases humans are meant. But biologists know that animals also have their own high drinkers. And in their desire to experience it, they will stop at nothing. Below you can find a list of the most desperate pleasure seekers. Gorillas. Gorillas have more than enough reasons to be depressed. There is deforestation, poachers, and intercurricular competition. In the midst of such incessant stress, what is there to do but get drunk? The mountain gorillas of Rwanda do just that. They managed to discover one of the local varieties of bamboo, whose sap contains alcohol. This source of fun is well known to the locals, and they even call it bamboo wine. What the gorillas call it is unknown, but the fact that they drink this alcoholic beverage with great pleasure has long been known. United States photographer Andy Rouse happened to stumble upon the gorillas having such a drink, right in the jungle. It happened during his trip to Rwanda. At first, the photographer thought the gorillas had some health problems. But after a closer look, he quickly realized that the gorillas had become extremely sick. Andy used the opportunity to snap dozens of pictures that were posted on social networks. They were the first pictures of drunken gorillas. Australian dogs enjoy licking toads. Australia is home to the largest number of venomous snakes. You can find them under almost every rock there. But the most amazing thing is that at the top of the food pyramid is not even such a celebrated exterminator of all living things as man. That king is the creepy-looking reed toad. Scientists have discovered that these toads secrete through their skin a poison that has hallucinogenic properties. Under the influence of this substance, the dogs begin to perform such ridiculous acts as hopping around, contemplating the sky, or running in circles for half an hour. The truth is, this pursuit of buzz can come back to haunt dogs in the same way that it does for humans with health problems. I must say that the Australian authorities took this into account, and in this country they even opened rehabilitation centers for dogs licked by reed toads. Groundhogs are hooked on antifreeze. In conditions of alcohol shortage, some bipeds have mastered the art of drinking various technical fluids like brake fluid. Usually such representatives of mankind are referred to as pigs, whereas their closest colleagues in the animal world are not pigs but marmots. In the United States, there are even special programs for such marmots, which cost the taxpayers of this state several tens of thousands of dollars annually. Car antifreeze is poison for many animal species. But not for the marmots that inhabit California's national parks. Not only are these rodents not afraid of the poison, but they love it with great affection. Groundhogs even gather in groups of 10 to 15 animals to attack parked cars. Wanting to get to the antifreeze, marmots chew through various parts of the car, such as the brake hoses. Such incidents occur every week, and even more often. It even happened that marmots, wishing to get hold of antifreeze, made unscheduled trips under the hood of the car. Groundhogs are very cunning, and can chew through car parts to get to the antifreeze that animals love to drink. As ridiculous as it sounds, for visitors to parks like Sequoia National Park and Yosemite National Park, marmot attacks cause quite a bit of trouble. To reduce the possible consequences, they even wrap their vehicles with wire mesh or at least a thick waterproof tarp. As a result, cars turn into funny-looking constructions. And all for the sake of protecting the cars from long-toothed junkies. True, some sensible visitors simply put bowls filled with antifreeze next to the cars, so that the animals can get drunk and not attack the car. You could say that this is a kind of tribute that motorists pay to the wildlife inhabitants. Dolphins devour toxic fugu fish. Fugu fish is considered a classic Japanese delicacy. True, it is very dangerous, but it is also unusually expensive. The body of fugu fish contains a lot of tetrodotoxin, which is among the most dangerous poisons on the planet, which is 10 times more toxic than the famous curare. Fugu fish venom is absolutely harmless to dolphins. The tetrodotoxin contained in just one palm-sized fish is enough to send 3 dozen gourmets to their deaths. The mechanism of action of this poison is such that it causes paralysis of all muscles and leads to respiratory failure. It is for this reason that only chefs of the highest qualification have the right to cook this fish. However, in spite of this delicacy still kills several people every year. In addition to people to this fish and indifferent to the dolphins. But for them the poison does not represent any threat, and people have seen more than once how they gnawed this fish in the hope, so to speak, to cheer themselves up. The most interesting thing is that dolphins do not eat fish completely. They simply take it in their mouths and suck it, as if a drug addict sucks on a piece of sugar drenched in LSD. This continues until the mammal feels pleasure. Then the fish of happiness is passed to another addicted dolphin, and so on until all the members of the pack feel bliss. After that, the fish is released. Drunken squirrels. These animals also belong to the group of those who breathe uneasy about alcohol. And they have even mastered a primitive form of winemaking. To obtain alcohol, they seek out fruit that is rotting in the sun and drink its juice. Luckily for them, the smallest amount of fermented juice is enough to make them thoroughly stoned, which has already been filmed on camera more than once. You can find quite a few videos of squirrels behaving inappropriately on the web. In the United States, squirrels even have their own favorite holiday on which they get especially drunk. It's Halloween. The thing is, when it's over, people throw a lot of pumpkins in the trash, which can sit on the ground for quite a while and ferment. As a result, in warm weather, mid-November becomes the season of drunken squirrels. For example, in mid-July 2015, several people who worked at a British pub came to work in the morning and found a lot of beer spilled on the floor of the establishment. At first they thought the place had been raided by robbers, but later they saw the culprit. It was a drunken squirrel who could barely stand. The squirrel managed to open the tap of the beer tank and got as drunk as any other squirrel could ever imagine. Russian bears are not satisfied with mere alcohol, they want jet fuel. When the Soviet Union ceased to exist, no one thought about the environment. Eventually, some shrewd businessman in Kamchatka turned the Kranatsky Reserve into a repository for jet fuel. But after a while, Russian scientists saw that the brown bears living there had learned how to open the barrels and enjoy it. In Kamchatka, brown bears dabble in jet fuel. They acted as ordinary toxicomaniacs by inhaling fumes of the radioactive substance. The end of such a session was approximately the same state in which some of our fellow citizens after a paycheck, only the bear replaces the fence or the back alley with a ditch in which they lie, while their consciousness travels to other worlds. Bears, like humans, become very dependent on fuel. There are known cases when they even attacked airplanes and helicopters that landed on the territory of the reserve. And all in order to get some dope. One photographer even spent 7 months of his life making pictures of drunk bears. He claimed that the bears did not confine themselves to just sniffing out the tanks, and were zealously sniffing the ground beneath the helicopters, sniffing fuel dripping from them. But after a while the reserve was cleared of the barrels and the bear shop was shut down. How the bears reacted to such destruction of the dealer's center remains unknown. So not only people can become addicted to intoxicants. Alas, the consequences of such addiction are the same for both humans and animals.